Hey, my name is Jack, and I'm going to be talking about ancient religion and the way that Roman religion was influenced by ancient Greek mythology. So to start off with my thesis, Greek and Roman mythologies grew up similarly, and they influenced each other quite a bit. Greek religion was first started in ancient Greece, where it was cultivated, and later brought a great many aspects to Roman religion when culture moved west. If we start with the origin of Greek mythology, the land that became known as Greece was first inhabited around 2000 BC, and during this time, the people were, of course, anxious to provide an explanation for the origin of the world. These people did come from their own places, their own lands, and their own cultures and beliefs. So, of course, they brought all these things along with them, and these beliefs and cultures, along with the new thoughts and all of these mixing together from different peoples, this became the basis of Greek mythology. And this is from Greek myths and the uses of myths from Carter Phillips. Now, if we go to the evolution of Greek mythology, the myths would change over time as the country grew and the people became more diverse. Because the Greek Empire was large, it expanded, and all these people came under the empire. All of these cultures would combine and evolve the religion. So all of these myths would constantly be changing and having small details being added or changed here and there. A big issue, however, is that documentation or writing of these myths and mythology did not actually start until around 1,000 years after the Greeks moved into their land. Because of this, the writing we have now is probably not what the original myths were, because we have no way to access that. Before this writing came around, the myths were passed down through mouth only. Now, there was a small transitional period when the center of culture was moving westward towards Rome. These Greeks and every other group of people started moving westward, and they all started combining. Now, because Greek was the biggest state before Rome, the culture within it would obviously have the most effect on Rome. This means that the major beliefs, specifically religion, would end up being the basis, or the stepping stone, the foundation even, for Roman mythology. One example of this is the gods of Roman religion, where the main 12 gods, at least, were, of course, they were very similar to the Greek gods, with the main difference being in name. For example, the Greek god Zeus would turn to Jupiter in Rome. Now, if we talk about the evolution of Roman religion, one of the biggest new things was the addition of many new gods. There were plenty of gods that were added to Roman religion that were not originally in Greek religion. And this comes from when the ancient Greeks began to write, from Eric Powell. Forgive me, that's the Edinburgh Companion to Ancient Greece and Rome by Ava Persineau. I'm sorry about that. Now, we do a comparison of the two. They had very similar gods, with the main differences being name only. The characteristics of God were mostly the same. There are many myths that had little change between the two as well. They also shared the main 12-god system. The Greeks had a 12-god pantheon, and this was shared with the Romans as well. And this comes from Roman religion in the time of Augustus, from Nelson de Paiva Bondioli. Now, to contrast the two, there are, of course, the names of the deities, and the Romans mainly focused on war, while the Greeks were philosophical and focused on thought. The Romans focused on war. To wrap things up, the Greeks clearly had a huge impact on the Roman mythology, with their gods and the mythology and the smaller myths associated. They are undoubtedly greatly influenced by Greece.